I mean, you know, when you go upstairs, you have to, obviously, not just everybody goes there.
It is 9 a.m. I will call this meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners to order. We will be abiding by the Open Meetings Act as amended, a copy of which is at the entrance to this room at 9:50. And we will also be meeting as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization at 9:15, also abiding by the Open Meetings Act as amended. First item on our agenda is open with prayer, and Commissioner Weems, would you lead us, please?
Please join me. Heavenly Father, be with us today as we deliberate and make sound decisions for our constituents. Be with all of our law enforcement, first responders, and our military, both here and abroad, that protect our freedoms that we so much enjoy. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is approve the minutes regarding Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting held on April 17, 2023.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve the minutes from the Board of Commissioner meeting held on April 17th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Ruler. Aye. Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Next item on our agenda is to consider the following: the claims and treasurer's receipts.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the claims and treasurer's receipts as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Aye. Weems.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Next item on our agenda is a special designated liquor permit submitted by Tidy Sip and C LLC of Maywood, Nebraska for a wedding reception to be held at the Lincoln County Fairgrounds on June 3rd, 2023. And like this is going to be,
They do have a catering license. She said they'd done them before in the past. I do not remember them, but she said they had, and that was sent to the sheriff.
looks like it's going to be in the Ag Activity Center. You do have a catering license, you say? Any word from the sheriff's office?
I did not receive anything.
I do remember seeing that name before come before us.
You do?
I do. Can't remember when or what it was in regards to, but I do remember.
Probably where you were buying that ryegrass last summer.
Could have been.
Might have been.
Some kind of rye.
Sip and see. I just now got.
Me too. Thanks for clarifying. I do plan on being present at this wedding, so,
So you're responsible for
yeah.
ID?
Sure.
So
It's
you
a
make-
wild crowd. I don't know.
You make sure the wristbanding.
I will.
Mr. Hoover may not have to be, but go ahead and put it on.
It's our designated driver
I
now.
see. Okay. Okay, your pleasure, folks.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve and you sign the special designated liquor permit submitted by Tidy's Sip and Seed LLC of Maywood, Nebraska for a wedding reception to be held at the Lincoln County Fairgrounds on June 3rd, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns. Woodruff.
Looks like it's confined to one building. That's good.
That's better than some of the outdoor events,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Especially where it's in town.
Have they given you a check for this?
No, we'll have to do it when they pick it up.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
She just emailed it in.
Okay, great. Okay, next item on our agenda is authorize the chairman to sign the addendum to the Maui Marketing website hosting and maintenance agreement.
Oh, we're
Fee
skipping one.
report.
Oh, excuse me.
Fee
I
report.
jumped ahead.
Fee report.
I had things a little out of order here, excuse me. Item is to receive an order filed with fee report submitted by the county sheriff.
Chairman, I would move to receive an order filed, a fee report submitted by the county sheriff in the amount $4,842.51.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
Good morning, George.
Hi, George.
Okay, now we'll get to the next item that I tried to get out of order. Authorize the chairman to sign the addendum to the Maui Marketing website hosting and maintenance agreement. Commissioner Bruns, you probably have some comment in this regard.
Yeah, this is the final addendum to the service agreement that we have with Maui Marketing that does our web design and hosting. This is in reference to the fillable online forms for the Inland Port Authority candidate applications, as well as some of the work that they did for the employee applications just in general. So it's the same dollar amount that they quoted, $350, that we've discussed in previous meetings.
Okay, and Deputy County Attorney Tyler Volkmar, looks like you get to sign this as well.
I do, and then no contracts, I'll get signed. So little to it, it would be hard to even classify that as more than, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we authorize you to sign the addendum to the Maui Marketing website hosting and maintenance agreement in the amount of $350.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bruns.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
I would also, on that previous note, it doesn't have any bearing to the vote or anything, but I'd just like to say thank you to Tammy for the work that she's done on all of that.
Yeah,
I'll second that or third that.
yes, it,
The other question I had was more for Tyler. It used to be on, I'm thinking my agreement with Maui, and I could be wrong, has for additional work, they usually have an hourly rate. I wonder, in our base contract with them, I wonder, do we have that?
pass
If
that down
not,
there for
so we don't have to do little Mickey Mouse things like this. I wonder if they have for authorized to additional work at so much an hour. You might check that, just curiosity, okay? Whatever that's worth, I know you don't have enough to do, so, thank you.
send that over there, please. Okay, here we go.
Payroll,
Good to see your smiling face this morning, Rolly.
Well, I'm a little late, obviously, but
smiling.
Not as late as Tristan. He's not here yet.
That's true.
George, so I hear that you're going to be our permanent fixture for the Telegraph, reporting on our meetings.
Just keeps coming.
Good deal.
Job fired us, is that the case?
Job, actually, I think is semi-retiring.
Ah,
He's gone part-time, he said. I ran into him last night or the night before.
I thought maybe we picked on him too much, but I don't remember picking on him here for at least a month.
As long as he, I doubt that
You're not real familiar with that group, then, are you? We weren't either.
I'll have to go play golf to see him then.
Not just, not the field, it just keeps falling apart.
Okay.
It's the only time ever we'll see him on a golf course.
Thank you.
Well, that's those reports.
Yeah, these are the fancy ones, or have one of these. Like, you'll just let you put them in your drawer. Just let me know when you get low.
Morning,
Take a while
Judy.
to come in.
Good morning, Judy.
Morning.
Can't you see the headlines? Becky? Yeah. Yeah, good story, wasn't it?
There's not two pieces of paper there.
Appears to be, but there is.
Is there something I should have signed? About Jerry, did he catch it?
Jerry did.
He did, I just don't. I'm just,
Who are they?
Pulled the Bill Henry.
I did, trying to cut it down on paper.
Oh. Oh, this is the one that I think the
He knew how to do that.
administrator wanted to talk to us with.
You think?
But you didn't have all these fingers and
So
toes.
I think he probably called, contacted all of us.
I know.
He gets for sticking it in
I
a
heard my
Hornbecker.
husband say this repeatedly this weekend. Nobody tells me anything.
I haven't seen him for a while, have you?
I have not.
It's his brother Larry. He's a good friend.
Must be the end of payroll.
Morning.
My calves are out.
Jason's gotten any idea why for the job up there?
Yes, I think he did an interview on Friday.
He's had a few of them.
Yeah.
He's going to be a smart decision.
That's good.
Good, kind of became.
That's good. I think that's the end of those, yes. Okay, it is 9:15:05. We will recess as the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization, abiding by the Open Meetings Act as amended, a copy which is at the entrance to this room. First order of business is approve the minutes regarding Lincoln Board of Equalization meeting held on April 14, 2023.
Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes regarding the Lincoln County Board of Equalization meeting that was held April 17th, 2023.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bruns.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Next order of business is certificates of correction and refund as submitted by the county assessor. Good morning.
Morning, Julie.
Looks like I have two here, real estate, is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And there's this acceleration of mobile homes that are moving out of Lincoln.
First one is for an Andrea N. Henderson here in North Platte. This amounts to an acceleration of $951.38, correct? How do we take care of these individually, correct?
Please.
Okay, this one has been approved by Julie Stinger, obviously. Andrea Henderson, what's your pleasure?
Chairman, I would move to approve the certificate of correction and refund in the matter of acceleration taxes for mobile home Andrea Henderson.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems.
Aye.
Hughley. Wheeler.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right. Okay, the second one is for a Kara Ray. The address here is in North Platte where it is at. It is being moved, is that correct, Julie?
Actually, this one was demoed, I'm sorry.
Demo, this was scrapped in April of 2023.
Yep.
Okay, accelerated taxes on a Champion of in the amount of $100.77 for a Kara Ray.
Chairman, I would move to approve the certificate of correction refund submitted by the county assessor in the matter of the acceleration of, or rather the demolition of a mobile home owned by Tara Ray.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Back over to Julie. Okay, next item is the motor vehicle tax exemption application is submitted by the county treasurer. And
I know it's coming my
morning.
way.
good morning.
I'd like to make a comment that on all the Great Plains House, from now on, I'm in the comments, but not charitable.
Okay, I noticed that that was on there.
I'm just gonna make that comment from now on, just noting that it's not charitable, but it is approved in state statute for general use.
Perfect.
Good work, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have, how many this morning? Just the one?
Oh, no, it's done.
Yes, just the one. Mr. Chairman, I have an application for exemption from Great Plains Health for a 2017 Ford Super Duty XLT and a 2002 United enclosed utility trailer. This is for general hospital use. It has been recommended for approval from the county treasurer, as her notes in testimony just provided, not for charitable use, but for general hospital use, which is approved in state statute. It would be my motion that we approve this.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll, please.
Bruns,
All right?
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley, Wheeler,
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right. That made it all the way down to the end of the table.
Yeah,
Everybody wanted to look at it.
it's, I was expecting that.
They really,
Side is now.
very much.
Thanks, Alex.
That's taken care of. Okay, is there any other business to come before the Board of Equalization?
It's a hot potato nobody wants to hand it to.
That being said, it is 9:20. We will adjourn at 9:20 as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. Thank you, ladies. Oh, Chris, we are on for 9 o'clock on Friday. With, Everything's Health.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Tammy will be here Friday morning.
Yeah, yep, I've got you down.
Do you have his phone number by any chance?
Who's?
The CEO of the hospital.
I think I do.
Please give it to me. There it's here.
That's Job calling. We're gonna have to have a word with him.
Being at the North Field,
Yeah.
up to me, he's like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I haven't been, I was like, yeah, we miss you.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I'm going part-time. So George is gonna be filling in from here on out.
I keep seeing that. I wanna go see, take that in. This weather won't change. and we get
It's
in the
coming
house
to
and
your
it's cold,
phone
so
right now.
It doesn't look great, yeah.
Is it just a tip on your throat or something?
To the north
Annoying, isn't it?
a couple times.
I enjoy just going and sitting on the lounge side, ER, vitamin C.
Whenever.
I had some Friday at the other place, the Cosmos children were entertaining. Tammy and Susie. There's Friday.
Tammy's still living in the cook.
She's in California.
No.
True story. Still trying to think what it was.
Didn't get a chance to ask Susie the last time she was in Nashville.
At one time that she lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
So is this? the quadruple loop? That's the only thing I can figure
Yeah,
out.
that's fine. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if they're gonna have to change their name of their,
There.
Did Molly go out to give donuts? Is that another guy?
He went to get donuts, he's probably not coming back,
That's probably right.
at least not with the donuts.
Power rings.
Power rings. Probably consuming them.
Or he could be towing my vehicle right now. Could be letting home.
One day when he was over here, I got over there, he'd written "Wash me" on the back.
I'm interested to see how these forms have.
And it needed it so bad, I could see it from across the street.
Pretty hard to without sample size.
To extrapolate. Utilize that to propose some legislation.
I missed that name, I guess, I didn't realize that was a firm. I thought there'd be a claim line there, but.
Should just get married.
Hmm?
'Cause that's what it used to be.
Ah,
Should get married.
apparently, that's why I hadn't seen the name.
it goes.
It is 9:30. Our next item on our agenda is to discuss and consider an application for Delmer and Angela Kesterson for Bagnell Administrative Subdivision on property located at 7836 South Bagnell Road in a TA1 Transitional Agricultural District. Excuse me, and is described as part of southwest quarter of Section 26, Township 13 North, Range 29 west of the 6 PM, Lincoln County, Nebraska.
Judy Clark, Lincoln County Planning Administrator. The name is correct, the legal description is correct. So, it's good to go. This is a subdivision that's gonna split a 3-acre lot, from a 49-acre parcel. The proposed lot is, proposed lot 1 is an existing home site. Planning staff has no objection. As presented, the subdivision is in conformance with the Lincoln County comp plan and zoning regulations. You'll see on the attached documents, kind of the site plan of the area that's gonna be subdivided, and the final plat, and then a location map. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help.
Must be really a growing area. We had something similar to this last week.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Somewhat similar.
Somewhat similar.
I do have a question, though. I can't see from the black map, but the road is probably a quarter of a mile from the homestead, I'm guessing?
Yes,
Okay,
so they
thank you.
come basically off of East State Farm Road.
Yep.
There's Lundquist Drive, I believe, or Lundquist Road that's up there, and then they can access, State Farm also.
Right.
The home site
On the
Yes.
corner.
just north of the State Farm Road.
And this is-
Yeah, that's Tapke's old place.
Yeah. And this is, well, and this home is Tapke's old place as well, Betty Tapke.
Well,
This
yeah,
street.
that was, yeah, Grandpa and Grandma Kesterson's.
You probably were in that big barn once or twice.
I was in, yeah, I was in Grandpa and Grandma's house a lot.
That big barn up until about 1998.
Barn dances, huh?
When I first saw this, I knew Bignell community was a proposed community, but I did not realize that there was a railroad proposed to go through there as well at one time.
Yep.
Neither one of them materialized. Okay, colleagues, what's your pleasure?
Chairman, I would move to approve the application by Delmer and Angela Kesterson for Bignell Administrative Subdivision on property located at 7836 South Bignell Road in a TA1 Transitional Agricultural District and described as part of the southwest quarter of Section 26, Township 13 North, Range 29 west of the 6 PM of Lincoln County, Nebraska.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 All right. Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does that have any? You needed
I
one?
don't think we have a, no, I'll have to bring it next Monday, I'll get it to
Okay,
you.
thank you.
It was back in the day when you could have a little, yeah, a little extra activity, couldn't you? Were you the glacier when they had those big barn dances?
Yeah.
Were you? Okay.
I was, but not out there.
Oh, okay.
There's
It was,
there's quite a few stories.
Did they move the barn?
No,
No.
it's in different repair.
well, those stories, I think, most of them.
Buddy.
Howdy, howdy.
Good morning,
You come
sir.
bearing gifts.
It's cold enough to be Christmas, but I don't think it's good that time.
It's one of my favorite meetings. Chilling in here. Talent on display. Bring them all.
Kristen must be on vacation today.
Is this for Department of Health?
Be the thin skinned sort of
I
person.
think I ask you that every month, don't I?
Maybe he had to fill in for his cohort or something the next, no, they have a syndicated show.
Come on in. Come on in. Have a seat. Join us. Brandon, those couple days when the wind was blowing so strong, I was really delighted I didn't get a phone call. Nothing personal. Whoa!
Your ears must have been burning.
Oh, my.
Where it wasn't all that windy yesterday, we got one. South of town.
Yeah, southeast.
Really?
I saw him heading by our place out
How
there.
big a fire was it?
Yeah, North Platte Fire was able to get it out within a half hour. Didn't have to call anybody else in.
Good.
That was nice.
Good.
What started that one, do you know?
That one, I don't know. Haven't talked to him yet this morning about it.
God, when you rang. Has the potential to be really bad somehow.
Apparently.
Gonna have to have Ken start doing his rain dance again.
I was just thinking about doing that this morning. Should start praying for rain again. We're not getting our April shower. We're supposed to get April shower, spring, May, lots. You told me that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So far, this yesterday.
So you know that's like
Spot.
the angles of time.
True. It was on the tablet.
I've heard say
I read it.
Stone and chisel tablet.
I've asked a lot of questions because after that statement was made and didn't get answers that I understood, so.
Brandon, how many are we expecting?
Huh?
How many are we expecting?
5 groups.
7 chairs.
Yeah. they bring-
Monday, I haven't had a sufficient amount of coffee yet.
Tristan, just so you know, I was sticking up for you. Left were
The peanut gallery was chiming in today.
they had some comments, but I stuck up.
I know I count on you on the table.
All the time. I expect the same in return.
Always, Commissioner.
Getting kind of deep. For a building that doesn't have any activity in it.
You gotta be here. There you go. Just keep spinning.
Shooting a little filler over there,
Yeah.
I see.
And for the record,
There's some
Tristan,
good filler right there in the corner.
yeah, there you go. A lot more photogenic over there.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And for the record, Tristan, all I said was that you're late again.
That sounds like a threat. Does that sound like a threat?
Oh, Commissioner Weed.
Ladies, I think the moral of the story is you always have to be on time. right?
At least to the Commissioner's meeting.
That's right. We're early, so.
That's right.
Setting
And
a
there-
good example.
And there's no penalty for being early.
Should make Tristan do the rain dance since he was late.
Yes. Did you guys talk about that? The rain dance again.
No.
Not really.
Should have started in February.
North and south town, we had a little bit of rain a couple times, but in town, other than a few drops here and there, yeah.
South of town, we got some sleet for like this long.
It is 9:45. Our next item on our agenda is a quarterly report from Region 51 Emergency Management.
Morning,
Good morning,
Good
and
morning.
you are?
Brandon Myers, Director of Region 51 Emergency Management.
I thought I recognized you.
Join it this time.
Oh, good.
All right, so third quarter amounts for the fiscal year 2022 EMPG and the EMPG ARPA reimbursements were submitted to the state. We are waiting on receipt of the funds for EMPG requested amount was $20,324.53, with $1,520.39 of this reimbursement being sent to Hitchcock County and $1,520.67 being sent to Dundee County for salaries. The EMPG ARPA requested reimbursement was $4,964.78, with $223.75 being sent to Hitchcock County and $256.50 being sent to Dundee County for operational costs. We submitted 0 2019 SHSP grant reimbursements, 1 2020 HMGG SHSP grant reimbursement totaling $338.85, and 7 2021 HMGGH SHSP grant reimbursements totaling $16,026.59. And then 1 2022 HMGG SHSP grant reimbursing total for $390 this quarter. Been working with the hazmat teams to clean up the 2019 and 2020 grants which expire in August. We've sent our quarterly invoices to Dundee and Hitchcock counties for their 1 quarter of the approved budget for each county. This will be $7,433.75 for Dundee County and $6,283.75 from Hitchcock County. Hazard mitigation plans for Dundee and Hitchcock, or Lincoln County are up to date. Hitchcock County's is at FEMA. So we're just waiting for approval from FEMA on that. I represent Lincoln County for the Los Canyons CWPP and Dundee and Hitchcock counties for the Southwest CWPP. All plans are up to date. All 3 county LEOPs are up to date. Continuously entering into the BOLD planning software for the LEOP, since that is going to be our new way of having a LEOP is in the cloud.
But you will have a printed version available.
I will have several printed that I will print because I'm old school and like printed.
Thank you.
So I will have one down here for you guys. Quarterly report to NEMA is complete. Myself and Joanna attended meetings with stakeholders concerning Lincoln County Courthouse generator. I attended the Nebraska Public Health Care Coalition radiological exercise, and all staff attended the NAM conference exercise. I attended a virtual QPR gatekeeping. Joanna and Pam attended spring storm spotter training. I taught tourniquet training to Lincoln County Department of Corrections, CPR, BLS to North Platte PD and the dentist office, as well as BLS test outs for a nursing home. Pam taught CPR BLS to Dundee County Schools 6th and 10th graders. Myself and Joanna judged severe weather winners poster contest for Lincoln County. Signed up to 3 to NEMA for state judging. I did interviews with KNOP about sirens and smoke detectors. Our office also posted information for Severe Weather Awareness Week. My staff monitored weather daily. There were a few severe winter storms that occurred this last quarter, a couple of which closed I-80, requiring truck parking and hotel monitoring. Also a few minor derailments and a leak at Bailey Yard, which did not require assistance. My staff attended 7 Liebert Field and 4 Goodland weather webinars. Picked up the mobile command center from Nebraska Forestry Service and working on outfitting it. Pam had a meeting concerning assigning 911 addresses and met with Chase County regarding a dispatch center crisis. We've also been working with NEMA and FEMA on declared disaster DR-4521 for the COVID-19 response. Request for Lincoln County materials has been obligated. Cat Z administrative costs for City of North Platte are being started, and those for Lincoln County will start soon. Our staff attended 2 South Central Pet Region meetings, 2 Lincoln County LEPC, 1 Southwest Pet Region meeting, 1 Southwest LEPC, 1 South Central CERT meeting, 1 NAM board, 1 NREN board, 3 NAM conference committees, 1 Nebraska Public Health Care Coalition meeting, Link Up, West Central Nebraska 10 meeting, Nebraska Public Health Care Coalition Strategic Planning, 1 Nebraska Citizen Corps Council meeting, 3 Nebraska Citizen Corps Council executive meetings, Lincoln County swearing in ceremony, 1 Nebraska Guard Domestic Operations Meeting, 3 NSMDCH Trauma Meetings, 1 Frenchman Valley Mutual Aid NAM Conference, 3 Lincoln County Commissioners, 4 Dundee County Commissioners, and 1 Hitchcock County Commissioner meeting. Kyle also attended a Culberson EMS meeting, and Pam attended the EMS meeting. And upcoming Web EOC training, Nebraska Land Days, Heritage Festival, CERT trainings, and continuing our outreach, planning and setting up exercises, and continuing with our training.
Thank you, sir. The fires that have consumed some of your time this last month or so, are there obligations that we get reimbursed for your services from NEMA?
No, none of those fires made it to a state declaration, so it's just on the county.
Okay.
So it's all local cost at this point. It's not till we can bump it up to needing state assets and getting a state disaster declaration that we can start getting reimbursements from the state.
I guess it's good that it didn't escalate to that level in one regard.
I have a question about the truck accident that happened out near Maxwell on I-80.
Yes.
The hazmat response, I heard rumor that we had to call in hazmat from Denver for that.
No. I know State Patrol was calling in a hazmat response cleanup team, and I think they were trying to contact one in Denver. Our local fire department with their hazmat team is the one that actually responded and mitigated the problem. The cleanup, they don't do cleanup. The trucking companies are actually responsible for having their own cleanup companies.
Okay.
First one that was contracted didn't show up. It was too big of a job for them and didn't bother to call and tell anybody that they weren't coming. So that's when State Patrol had to start searching around, trying to find a company that could come and take that much. Because there was 70 55-gallon barrels that they had to remove.
And that's what led to the interstate being closed for the prolonged
Prolonged,
period.
longer than it should have been, yes.
And was the state of Nebraska called on that?
They called several companies in Nebraska that, because of the size, they weren't gonna come do it.
The cleanup, if I understood correctly, came from an organization in Missouri, Kansas City area, is that right?
I don't know if it was Kansas, I've heard Kansas and I've heard Omaha's is the original ones that didn't. Even our local one, it was too big for them at the time to be able to come and take care of. So whether it's just personnel or what, but 70 barrels is quite a lot with some of them leaking and.
Is that something we need to talk about
Yeah.
collectively for the future, that we need to address that? Because the logical thing would be that you would have an agreement, cooperative agreement between more than one firm.
Well, and it leads up to all the trucking industry that they have to, when they're doing hazmat, they have to have contracts with cleanup crews. And that becomes an issue with the trucking company and the cleanup crew on default. The state can go after them for stuff. And from what I understood was the state, actually ended up moving all the barrels off the interstate,
The state of Nebraska.
the state of Nebraska,
That's the
to
reason I
another
said
location
because
until we could finally get somebody here. But it's really not up to our hazmat team or even Department of Roads or NSP to do the cleanup.
But it was NSP that moved the barrels off the interstate. It wasn't
Yes.
any,
NSP and Department of Roads that finally said they had enough and,
to me, it sounds like there needs to be a larger conversation on this particular topic. When you talk about the propensity for hazmat situations with the railroad and trucking, and that's only gonna grow as we grow our communities.
now I do know that the Federal Department of Transportation is looking into this as well. Because it goes against certain hazardous material hauling guidelines that they weren't able to get somebody here fast enough. Because that is part of their agreements, that they have an accident, they have a spill, timely manner, it gets cleaned up by a private company and.
Was Nebraska DEQ? summoned, or were they involved?
They get notified, and then they monitor what the cleanup is, because there's more than just, picking the barrels up and calling it good.
Right.
If there's anything spilt like we had in the center, median and stuff, even on, the side median, then the company and their cleanup crew have to do certain steps of cleaning up all that dirt and everything.
And what was the chemical?
And hydrous chloride was what I was told.
Which is a corrosive, based on the information in the newspaper. I know the trucking company I worked for, we had local people that had to be trained, but our response only was for a certain volume.
Yeah.
And that looked like a very large volume, so it may not have actually been the product itself, but the volume of it.
Yeah.
That required them to send a team. And we used the same company that they did for this one. They're headquartered out of Kansas City, but they do have a response team out of Omaha.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that speaks to my point, like, we have a propensity for high volume
Yes.
type incidents.
I guess I was under the
So-
impression, since we have a hazmat response company here in North Platte, that they would be the ones to respond, but not.
We would like it to be, but again, the way, the federal government has it contracted with everybody is that they just contract whoever they want. And through their routes, then they, have different companies they contact if they're not a nationwide, but it would be nice since we got them right here, just,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, just food for thought, because I think, colleagues to my left hit it right on the nose. Whether Commissioner Weems and myself under law enforcement, whether you appoint a special committee, a subcommittee, or whatever to work with Brandon on this, I couldn't agree more. Let's not wait for it to happen again and then say, well, why didn't we?
Yes, now, the trucking company, as I understand, is responsible for the cleanup.
yes,
And they have contracts with hazmat teams, correct?
yes.
Now, if it's a national firm that's doing the trucking,
But you-
no assurance that there is a local person or local entity involved. So that leads to some time delay. So this is something that does need to be addressed.
Agreed. There's a lot of different entities involved, and no clear chain of command, it
Yeah.
appears.
Well, and the disruption even to the local community was pretty bad. Because we had to reroute traffic off of 80 at 179 to go over to Highway 30 eastbound. And then westbound traffic had to come off in Brady, go over to Highway 30 to come back to 179. So there's about almost 24 hours of
Well,
disruption to.
we're luckily it was just an inconvenience with traffic.
Yeah.
And when you think about the public safety aspect of what potentially could have happened, this, I think a committee is probably,
Yeah, and some of the traffic that was deferred off of Interstate 80 was on some roads that some of those folks apparently hadn't driven on those kind of roads before, and I'm surprised that we didn't have some accidents.
I know some
Not
locals
far.
that went down State Farm to get east, because they weren't going to Highway 30. So,
Well, DEQ Nebraska's DEQ by default is supposedly the lead agency if you have issues in the agricultural sector,
yeah,
who I dealt with. And you're accountable for those folks, and they're typically on site sooner than later. So I'm wondering if the disconnect is because the federal DOT has jurisdiction over the interstate system, or why there's this issue.
yeah, I don't know. I know that whenever we have hazmat spills on a roadway, I have yet to see Nebraska Department of DEQ be here. We usually talk days to weeks later, but yeah, we've never had
is it
anybody.
because the agencies are siloed and there's no cross communication, or what, in your opinion, is the issue in that regard?
I think a lot of it too, because it is a roadway and it's a vehicle, it falls, they monitor, but it falls more under transportation, so.
They do monitor though? Okay.
Because they will make sure, that the cleanup is too satisfactory out there.
What are the steps that we can take in a proactive manner?
Probably sitting down with, not only our local hazmat, but some of the state entities to see, what we could rectify so that we don't have another 24-hour wait.
And it-
So, state roads, NSP,
How would you suggest we go about that? Joe, you had a suggestion, did you?
No, I was just gonna say it may end up being a year or two thing. It may be both state and federal legislation, but it might just be a matter of getting educated. But certainly, I think we owe it to people in Lincoln County to follow up on it.
Yeah, can you have some further discussions with our local hazmat?
yes.
And if they cannot handle the job, it would be very nice to have them give us some information in regards to who we can contact.
Well, I think the emphasis should be, Brandon has, obviously has the connections, is to bring in the appropriate agency, both state and federal, that we could have a conversation with to determine why there's this disconnect in response. Because timing is essential when you're talking about a soluble
Yeah.
compound of any type, especially in the Platte Valley.
I think, and, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, you know, the number one thing, a lot of these products are highly soluble in water. So if we're standing around just determining who's supposed to respond and nothing's happening, why, you know, if there'd been 2 inches of rain behind this thing, the
Which
mitigation-
we were monitoring because we had rain.
Yeah.
In the forecast.
I would,
Monitoring doesn't take it. Well, we were monitoring it, that might not go very far.
but if you could coordinate a follow-up conversation, at least informal, whatever, with start with Nebraska DEQ, I think we should be involved, because unless something's changed, they're the lead agency as far as environmental issues within our borders, and then tie in DOT or Nebraska Department of Roads. Nebraska Department of Roads, we've got good representation right here in District 6.
Yes.
Maybe start there and have a conversation with those folks at a group meeting, just say, you know, why is there this disconnect as far as response? And how do we make it better, or can we? Maybe because the federal DOT is involved, maybe their hands are tied, I don't know the answer, but it doesn't sound very fluid to me.
No, a lot of parties involved that were not happy.
Well, to Joe's point, we need to take the initiative
Yeah.
and make
Yeah,
it better.
we need to be on the front end
Not
of
wait
this.
till it's reactive time again.
And that's my point. I mean, I'm not minimizing it. Brandon's quite capable. He has the connections, but I think we need to have a couple of our voices in that conversation early on to express the gravity of the situation and the importance of it, to get the ball moving quickly.
Okay, I'm hearing that we should maybe have some sort of a conference, a mini conference that you might set up, and who would like to serve from this board or be in that conversation?
I think Commissioner Hughley volunteered, and I would also. agree
Okay,
with
let's have you
Brandon
get the
coordinate something.
I can do that.
parties coordinated together and then report back to us what we can do to mitigate that kind of a scenario happening in the future.
Okay. I'll get on it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for your report. Okay, next item on our agenda is presentation of severe weather awareness poster contest winners. And Brandon, would this be something you could lead us on?
Yes, I get to do this.
Okay, great.
This is the fun thing I get to do every year. Probably about the only fun thing. So.
You mean you don't like
Steve,
coming
make
over
sure
here? Apparently it's no
The
fun
rest
that
of them
comes
are ready.
to
Never done me wrong. Come on in.
It's just like church, if you come late, you have to sit in the front.
Yeah.
Do we have enough chairs?
Oh, this is good.
Nice group.
Oh, boy.
Joanna's bringing up the lead.
Holy smokes,
Nice crowd.
nice job.
You need more chairs, Jeff?
I know we're waiting on a couple kids from Wallace, we just don't know when they're gonna be here.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys wanna continue waiting, or,
You got some you think are en route?
uh,
You think you have some en route?
where do they say they're around?
Well,
Not quite sure.
so we've got some, maybe en route. Tyler, can we, put that on hold and hit our next agenda item?
Well, once it becomes 10:15, you can.
Or wait till then?
So I guess we're gonna wait a while. Enjoy your, time here in the commissioner's room with us. Thank you all for coming. We're gonna wait just a little bit to maybe catch a couple more, correct?
Hopefully, yes.
You know,
Yeah, Joe?
oh no, I was gonna say we didn't have no chairs. Would be nice if we could have a little helper maybe for a couple minutes, just kind of sitting by us, but I'm trying to see the spots, but that wouldn't work, just to kill some time, but that's not gonna work anyway.
I do have. Yeah?
I was gonna ask for claims.
Oh, yeah, we could, couldn't we?
Nice big two just there. Just can't pick the size.
Yeah. It's a hurry up and wait type ball game.
Getting formation right,
Yes,
That's what my son said.
15 minutes to the 15
Full
minutes.
500, wait for the brats.
We do have a report that I'm gonna ask for on the O'Fallon Bridge project. Tyler, would that be okay?
Informational.
Tyler? Would it be okay if I ask for an update on the O'Fallon Bridge project from Commissioner Weaver? Okay, well, we've got a few minutes, we're gonna wait here. One of the items discussed last week involved the O'Fallon Bridge and Culvert project. Commissioner Wooler was on site, once or twice this past week, and would you give us an update on the resolution to that issue, please?
I will. On Wednesday, April 19th, the surveyor from the engineering firm Manili Wagner out of Lincoln or Omaha met on site with the Platte Valley Irrigation Board, several area farmers affected by the O'Fallon's project, along with Jason Schultz and Brian Gloss from the Lincoln County Roads Department, and myself representing the commissioners. The surveyors re-surveyed the location based on the directions that were given to them by the engineering firm. Jason and his team and Jeff Orr from Platte Valley Irrigation and his board all came to an agreement that with a slight adjustment, it wasn't determined completely how it will be done until the crew gets back on site to see. There was talk of maybe pulling one of the 4 culverts out to trim a little more off of the south edge of the canal, reposition that culvert, and then pull the other 3, maybe about 2.5 feet closer to that, and swing them just a slight amount, and that will reposition the flow of the water. The board and the Lincoln County Roads team both were happy with the conversation and how it went, and they got some paperwork. I believe, Tyler, have you been given the emails that you needed so we can proceed with the project?
I'm satisfied that Jeff Laggers signed off on it.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we're having a reduction into hydraulics, right? We're removing a tube?
Nope, we are not removing the tube.
Thank you.
No, the engineering firm stood by their design that the 4 tubes were necessary. It's just a slight readjustment of the position of the tubes in the canal bed. When the moratorium on the work was ordered, of course, the county road crews were dispatched to other projects. I'm not sure exactly when they will be able to get back to this location, but it'll be soon, and they will move forward. Something I did learn while I was on site, we had a resident in the commissioner's chambers at the Monday, April 17th meeting that had spoke to lack of communication she felt by our road department. And while we were on site, that topic was addressed. And both the board and the roads crew told me that there were several lines of communication. The engineering firm had sent the plans to Platte Valley Irrigation Board of Directors in February of 2021. And then in March, and I'm not sure exactly what day, but our Lincoln County Roads team did have an on-site pre-construction meeting with the board and area residents. And at that time, they discussed the schedule and the plan. So there was plenty of communication with our board and their board. So moving forward, I feel like we've come to an agreeable resolution and that the project will be completed soon.
Super, thank you. Yeah, I think it was very important that we make it clear that the roads department did communicate very well with all parties involved. And one of the speakers last week was not as well informed as that person should have been.
I agree.
Thank you.
I hope the delay's not keeping anybody from math class. Or anything fun like that.
Just recess.
Recess. Cutting into recess, way to go. This could be a little bit like math class, maybe.
This
You
is
mean-
probably worse than math
Probably
class.
worse.
You mean boring?
Yeah. For them, not us.
When I was that age, we didn't have math class. I had arithmetic.
With an abacus.
Reading right in the cigarette. Right off the tablet.
That's right.
Right.
Board, what is your pleasure? They're still waiting on a couple of folks from the school. Do you want to go on with the next agenda item or wait?
We can go on. I hate to have them lose out on their presentation.
Tyler, is that okay with you, you think?
Yeah, sure. Good, 10:15, you got time.
Okay, it's 10:15. Next agenda item is to discuss the comprehensive plan for the HVAC mitigation. And I would have, Joe, would you want to tell us where we're at on this particular
Sure.
situation?
My last recollection is once our final settlement was completed, that, in fact, the ball's back into our park. The court, what do we do? Something, nothing. We have a recommendation from an engineering firm as to a remedy. We've also heard from part of our legal team and consultants that there may be a better way, but I personally think that what we need to do sort of is reorganize, Mr. Chairman, get a committee going forward that would address where we go from this point. We have some dollars that Tyler can talk about. But I think what is in the past is in the past. Now we need to look forward and see how we get this thing completed. My concern is, right now, although the system is operating, we know that it's not operating properly, and it's also not operating very efficiently. So when you look the additional funds that we spent to get this kind of a system, because it was the efficiency of the operation, to save funds in operating, because it's a higher front-end cost. And right now, that's just not happening. So I think that you might want to look at a committee to say, okay, that was phase one. We're in phase 1A or whatever, and let's get this thing finished up and get an efficient system going. That's really all I can say.
Chairman, I would concur with Chairman, or Commissioner Hughley that we do need to refocus, and I'd ask also that this be discussed. My inclination would be to ask Joe to spearhead that, because of a couple things. Number one, he's the only common denominator from 7 years ago when this started, and.
Maybe good or bad.
Well, no, I mean that in a positive fashion. I mean, you did a lot of heavy lifting on this, and you've got the background and information on how these systems are supposed to work. And to your point about moving forward, we do need to do something a little bit more than just the pump and dump system we've got today. I'm a little hesitant to just say, we've got this pool of money, let's just go punch another well. I don't think it's quite, I'm a little gun shy on that. I think that's, I want some better assurances that that's gonna solve it. I'd also like to see, and maybe it's not practical to re-examine and go back to visiting a boiler system that's probably now totally antiquated and out of date. But I'd at least, for the record, like to discuss that at some future point. Say, we took a serious look at it, and it's not on the table because it's not practical. But at least, for the record, we can say, we looked at that as another option. Because at one time it worked. Would welcome Commissioner Hughley to his comments about focusing on a subcommittee, and I would love to see him front and center on that.
Yeah, my first thought was Building and Grounds Committee, but I think Joe has a great amount of experience and knowledge of the system. And if the present Building and Grounds Committee would welcome or accept the fact that Joe would serve on that committee along with Kent,
I agree.
would that be okay?
Yep, absolutely. I
Now,
would appreciate it, actually.
Okay.
I have no historical information. I came in very late on that project, so I
Okay.
feel like those two would be the perfect team.
As I understand, we did have a quote from a company as far as a resolution of the problem, and that would be drilling another well. Is that correct, Joe?
That was one of the solutions, yes. So I think that, if I understand correctly, this committee's would probably be trying to get back with a couple of recommendations to the board in short order, maybe within 30 days, as to how we proceed. And by that, I mean, I don't have the expertise to go forward. I don't think Kit does. That we're probably gonna need a consultant to help us through this process. So I think the first thing that we should do is the committee should get together, review the existing documentation we have, try to get a roadmap as to where we go, plan A, B, C. That may be interviewing some consultants that are familiar with this to help us go down the road. But that's how I see this happening, and coming back and saying, this is the way we see this maybe playing out to the board.
Do we have that expertise in this county? Do we have a
Well, I'm not, I don't think it would just necessarily be a well person. I really don't know, Jerry, at this point. I honestly don't. Well, obviously, we have very good well people in the county. That's not a question at all. So I don't want to, I'm gun shy about going out and saying I recommend this or that without really getting some good engineering logic behind it. That's all.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Regarding the system that we have in place now, Joe, this is probably a question for you. The units that are in the ceilings in the different departments around the building, is that mutually exclusive to the system that we have, or can we have those changed out to something that's
Oh,
more
you would-
universal? What does that
Yeah,
cost
number
look like?
one, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say, well, you don't wanna do that because of cost, but there's different ways of doing it. I mean, you can still utilize those systems. It doesn't have to be geothermal. We chose to use geothermal because of the efficiency and the additional upfront cost. So I'm not sure that is the right way to do it, but there's other ways to furnish the energy to those systems, okay, other than geothermal.
Because I've heard that, but it may be just a function of the inefficiency that we have with the current geothermal as the root cause, with some of those things kind of breaking down and not operating.
Well, that's
the way they
something that
should,
I
so.
need to find out more about too, and we need to look at, so that'll be part of the discussion.
Are there other,
Now, that, I have to tell you though, that, how we doing, boss, time-wise?
We're ready.
Maybe maybe, once Kit and I meet, we can report back a week or two, how's that work?
okay, sounds good, thank you very much. Okay, we will slip back to our 10 a.m. Agenda item, presentation of severe weather awareness poster contest winners. The floor is yours, Brandon.
Hey.
Joanne?
Brandon Myers, I'm the Director of Region 51 Emergency Management, and my assistant Joanna Lemoyne. Every year, this is what we do for pleasure. This gives us joy, is bringing you guys in for the winners of our county for the poster contest. This is in partnership with National Weather Service, the Nebraska Emergency Management Agency, and our group, the Nebraska Association of Emergency Managers. So a lot of people get involved all across the state. Third graders do severe weather poster contest or posters for us. We get to judge them. We send them down to Lincoln for a final judging across the state. And then we come back here and get to do presentations here. So it's never easy to judge these and send only 3 to Lincoln. That part, that's a hard thing to do. So for our county, I've got 5 people that we picked, 2 runners up and then the 3 that we sent to Lincoln. So First one, probably gonna hack the name. Taden Buck? That's you? Come on up. So, this is his poster for severe weather.
Oh, wow.
You wanna hold your poster for a second?
Turn around so you, yeah,
And don't worry, at the end, we'll gather everybody for a big picture. And, because you're an honorable mention, we'll give you a certificate from our office. So that's for you. And one of our challenge coins. And
My goodness.
I always get great prizes, I think. Because I want to keep encouraging that you draw, color, and do art. Okay? All right, thank you.
thank you.
Brandon, did I miss, or was it Caden, and where was he from, what school?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even look.
I believe he is Sutherland. No, yeah, Sutherland.
Sutherland School?
He's from Sutherland.
Okay, Sutherland.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, our next runner-up, Erilyn. Is that right?
Yep.
Didn't hack it too much? And you're from Jefferson. This would be.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a
Severe weather.
good one.
Wow, yeah,
Poster.
yeah.
Roof came
Very
right off.
nice, yes.
The roof came off, upside down.
Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture?
And, as well, you get a certificate from our office for participating and being a runner-up for the Severe Weather Awareness Week and posters. So that's yours. And a coin from our office. And as well, an art set to keep drawing and doing art.
Oh, baby, come on, come on.
Can you hold up your poster?
Do you want me to hold something so that? There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No. So, oh, you're from Wallace?
Yeah, Emerson.
Oops.
Okay, that's not her. That's Brandy.
Okay.
So this is,
All right,
I'm sorry, I didn't,
That's
that
okay.
came in.
so one of them from Wallace wasn't here, Brandy
O'Brien.
O'Brien. So she got third place for our in-house poster contest that we did. So that was her drawing, which will get to her certificate, coin, and an art set.
What school, Brent?
Wallace.
Walls?
Wallace, yes. All right, second place from Wallace. Emerson, that it? That right? This is her poster for second place.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice,
Come on up.
very
Emerson.
nice.
Stand
When,
next to
when
him.
pigs fly.
We'll get a picture. Gotcha, thank you.
All right, so Mom can get a picture. There you go. Get one over here. Gets a certificate.
I want the whole thing.
Need the second.
Sorry, that's third place. We got switched around, I apologize. No, third, she got third.
Oh,
They got switched around. I should have given you third place and it was, I gave you second place for Brandy's second. I apologize.
all right. Yeah, sorry, it was third place. But here's your certificate and a coin. So we'll get a picture here. we got another one over here again.
Smile.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Oh, nice big set.
Here's an art set to continue drawing and doing art for us.
Very
Okay.
nice, very
Thank you.
nice.
Wallace was well represented.
First, from Jefferson, Jaylee. That right? All right. So here's Jaylee's poster.
Uh-huh.
Face. That one.
Gotcha.
So here's your poster,
Good job, Jaylee.
a certificate for first place, and I'm sure we got lots of pictures to get. If you want to hold your poster up. So here's your, oh, one more. So here's your certificate, a coin from our office, and
Holy
Oh,
smoly.
an art set.
very nice, very nice.
You know, what I'd like to do is have every one of the individuals that had submitted a contest, a poster for your contest, I'd like to have a picture of all of them, you and our board.
We can do that, I'm sure. You guys want to do that? Then, with your guys' approval,
You,
we made photocopies of them to display in the front of the courthouse. If that's okay with all of you guys.
Oh.
Over in front of the table.
how about we have you guys stand in front of the table?
Wait, the honorable mention.
Okay, all of you line up in front of us. Brandon, where are you gonna be? Get in here.
I'll be in back.
Where's Joey?
Joanne,
No?
get in there too. Get in here too. Hey, we got everybody up here. Okay, great. Smile. You getting a picture of all this, Tristan?
Yes, sir.
Don't move. You have to stay there. Okay, I'm gonna trade this. Okay, one last one, everybody's looking pretty.
Great. Now, thank you all for your effort. Mom and Dad.
And I thank you guys for allowing us to come do this.
It's enjoyable for us too, yes. We look forward to it.
Yeah. So, you guys are here now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Keep up your
Brendan.
creativity, kids.
Last little smile was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, when she
Jefferson.
saw that.
Like I said, every year, none of them ever make it easy for me to judge.
And you give good prizes. Those are good ones.
Hey,
Thanks, everybody.
you bet. Thank you, Sam.
You guys already have photocopies, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
thank you.
All right, mark you out the hall, let's go.
I am.
Yeah, almost.
You're going.
Oh, just a minute, but yeah.
Did you guys have posters that you wanted? Joe? We had discussed that, and we've got Joe and Kent that are going to be meeting with the some folks to
And them probably.
Probably ultimately with
the whole
you
works
two as well, discussing.
to see what the options are for mitigation,
And
and
who are they meeting with? Sorry, I missed that.
Joe and Kent.
And who are they meeting with them?
Building and grounds is among others.
Start reaching out to
consultants.
Okay.
We're gonna let Joe take the lead on that. Well, I said earlier when we discussed this that I'm not saying it's because I don't know the system at all. Okay, so that's the reason that Commissioner Hughley's gonna be helping spearhead is gonna spearhead this for us because he's got the time in the system. He understands the old system, the new system. One of the things I threw out there, just to say, 20 years from now, they can say, well, why didn't those people think about this? I threw out that we should talk about the old system. And just, acknowledge it, discuss it, put it to bed, put it to rest, that it's not a viable option, but at least that we talked about it. It needs to be on the record that we discussed and looked at all options, because none of us wanna go down the road of 7 more years saying, oh my gosh, we still didn't get it right. And that's our goal.
So Booker and Joel, you guys were both here when all of that was taking place, so you'd be valuable participants in that conversation too.
At least it's in it.
Joel, you can still get in and monitor temps and all that when that goes down, all that, right?
While you guys are here, I was gonna have Brandon do it, but we were having too much fun with the awards today, but in his report, he mentioned the generator project. Okay, so the board's aware that we have a potential early closing or potential partial closing, and the courts are aware because Tyler has conveyed that. And so, within that discussion, there was some question as to, can we shorten that up versus, full day? Because the courts, it was talked about that the courts could possibly shorten their Friday if the contractors still thought they'd have with the 3-day. And I know this is gonna be onerous upon them because it's gonna probably guarantee they have to work into the weekend. But we have to make sure that we do business for the people that we're working for.
Yes,
So,
Joel and I talked a little bit, we're both gonna be here, just make sure everything runs smooth, let them handle whatever we can do to speed it along.
well, it might be something we wanna revisit with them and say, what if we can only be closed from noon on Friday? Is it still,
Through
are we
Monday
still
and
putting
then
ourselves up
Tuesday.
against a rock and a hard place?
Okay.
And I know, the city, Neil and with Minnie and Hall's involved. Maybe we just need to revisit that question and I don't know that we have to have a, entire committee, but something you might convey for us.
Yep.
This what if scenario.
Yes, and then if he has any questions, I'll have him call you or Michaela.
Yeah, we just simply don't wanna disrupt business
Oh, no.
any more than we have to.
Okay.
Okay.
In regards to the HVAC, I would be interested to know if there are other entities that are utilizing a pump and dump system.
Hershey School.
Hershey, yeah.
No, I can give you a million.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, stop. That's not true. When we say pump and dump, yes, I can give you several.
I have
I believe
I have-
Hershey School uses that system.
I believe St. Pat's School uses that too, do they not?
Yes.
Okay.
There's actually, is really a dump because that goes into the river. So. They love it.
I have some experience with pump and dump, but on a much smaller scale than what we're talking here.
But same principle.
I guess my only question is, I think it's a great system when it works, but we gotta separate wells, I'm guessing, with more space, so they don't circulate to each other,
That's my concern, is we don't have
But
enough
his-
space.
If we got enough space, we need to
Geographic.
figure out that, and that's what I'm wondering too.
And do we know if that's even, is there a guarantee that that's gonna work?
That's where somebody a heck of a lot smarter than me needs to answer that in the well business, HVAC business.
Didn't we already have that looked at though? Yeah, I thought so.
But I don't I don't remember a guarantee that that was gonna fix it, for
We
sure.
didn't have one, so.
Okay, super. Tyler, is there need for a closed session? Okay, next item is hear concerns from elected officials, department heads, or their representatives.
I gave
How
it,
about, why are you being nice to
I
him?
gave it to him and he gave it back to me this
Oh, you
morning.
guys are pretty generous. Yes, we can fix that for you.
Doesn't pay to get her late.
Okay.
You might have to fill out the trouble ticket, because I don't know if he's catering.
Okay, well, I'm joking.
Absolutely. Why not?
I can read the emails, I'm getting the emails now.
See you guys.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
A step in the right direction, Kent.
It is.
And there's a lot of them.
I'm becoming very techie.
You missed out on about 120 before.
Ignorance is bliss.
It's been
Becky, do you have
a
anything for
popular
us?
system.
Tammy? Do you have many applications for the Get On Board?
Yes, I think we're up to 9 or 10. I had 2 over the weekend.
So what is the timetable for looking into some of those?
I would, the committee needs to convene and take a look at what we have. I know that there's still several more that are working on applications. So I was trying to mitigate having to have multiple meetings of the committee.
So kind of wait until we get a few more gathered up?
Yeah, ideally,
I can scan and send out what I have for everyone.
that would be great.
Please do, yeah, please do. How about naming the facility?
I have a few.
I think there
I can send
were
that out
quite
to
a
you.
few submitted, but we realized that there was a break in the link or something. So I've been trying to communicate with people to resubmit,
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
okay. What else, colleague?
Oh, let's see. The building budget line item for the emergency manager. Becky points out that's a lid impacted amount.
150?
Yeah. And, I'm struggling with how, we've been trying to consolidate storage of offices, et cetera, and I'm trying to figure out, I went by there the other day just to see how big that lot is. I didn't get out and measure it, but I don't know what you can buy for a pre-engineered metal building these days with an insulation package, but I'm just wondering out loud, and I don't know, I recollect that at one time we discussed consolidating other uses for that building, including storage of records.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
We did have that conversation because we're running out of space for the clerk's office up on the 4th floor. Litany of documents that Becky has to keep by state statute for certain periods of time. But that all needs to be temperature controlled.
I do have a lot of permits.
They need to be somewhere that you are out of room or you're running out, close to being out.
Well, it's pretty full up there. I mean, they cleaned that 4th floor out. It's pretty full. I think county court does have a little up there yet.
But if we could consolidate all those records to a building that we're likely going to build, that frees up space. We have departments that have, and they're jumbled up on top of each other. So.
Okay, explain to me the problem that this is something that will affect the lid. Explain that to me again.
It was figured into the lid exclusion, and that money's already been collected for that project. If we do not use it for that project, that $150,000 comes right off the top. We're starting at $150,000 in the hole.
In the hole.
What is our timeline for utilizing that money?
Well, we've had it on there, I think, 2 years. It went from 50 to 150, so we've increased the limit. But, I mean, as long as I think with everything that happened with COVID and the supply and demand thing, I mean, I think we can justify saying we haven't done it because, not that we didn't plan on doing it, it just hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So I think we can justify that for the auditors.
And remind me again where we were thinking of putting this building.
Weeds.
Out at the weed office lot, there's one potential. Now, I went by roads and thought about the area where the old salt shed is, still standing. There's a fair amount of room there with already a fenced property. But
It's my understanding they're keeping that structure up.
I just threw it out this second.
Yes, we determined that they were gonna
Where they
do
put the
some
pool
repairs
tables.
on
Yeah.
that building and use it for parking vehicles.
Is there room
in.
out of weeds and,
So I asked Judy Clark to look at the lot where Weeds and the dive team have buildings. And she said, that she forwarded it to Dave Hahn, in the city office to take a look at. She said right there it is zoned R2 district. They're gonna have to go back through the files to determine how the other buildings were permitted. But she said with a conditional use permit that would be approved by us, that it would be possible to put a 40 by 60 building on that lot. That there's enough room, it just needs to be
That's not by us, though, that's by the city.
by the city, I'm sorry, I said us,
But
like
on
the
what
city.
lot?
Where, Weeds and the dive team have a
Yeah.
building there, is that 1621
West 10th.
West 10th?
But,
That's a very large lot, but she wasn't sure that it would work with the existing zoning. But there would need to be some.
Yeah, but but it is
Additional
allowed as a
permit.
conditional use though.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what she said.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
and what's the size of this building again, 40 by 60?
40 by 60 is what he had in his plans.
Have we received any kind of bid yet or idea on what this
No.
cost would be?
we have not, we've kind of put it on hold. That onerous thing about that lid is, it's basically hitting you on the head, or on the thumbnail with a hammer for, bypassing that expenditure, because that is one of the silliest rules as far as public budgets. It does not promote efficiency, it promotes inefficiency. frankly.
Exactly.
And I don't like it, but we're
That's why
stuck with it.
That's why I've drug my heels every year when that comes up.
Yeah, but
No,
Because it doesn't make any sense.
the thing is though, we have budgeted, it's there, we probably need to, something or get off the, and I think we probably ought to do something. We might want to, and while we're talking about it, if we have a concern that that's not big enough, look at putting another 25 or 50% onto that building that's conditioned for all this other stuff we're talking about, so we don't do it again. We need to not only think about just not upstairs, I mean, we've got storage scattered all over this doggone place.
Right.
At one time, we rented airplane hangars, I don't know, I'd better not say, because might still be one or two for a specific reason that we have, so.
yeah, I agree, I totally agree with that, that's why I alluded to that, but if we can take away rental expenses,
Exactly.
significant and multiple, that's,
By not utilizing the facilities they're already using now.
well, we looked at the, where emergency manager has his storage now, and there's no way the command center is gonna fit in there. And you can pour a 5-gallon bucket of water on the roof, and about 4 gallon will come inside, and that's not gonna change.
Yeah.
I talked to the property manager, and they've mitigated it, but it's just simply, it's
And
not well
that
designed on the
building's
soffit.
not temperature controlled.
No, there's no, I mean,
I wouldn't feel
of course,
comfortable.
you're not gonna get that rented for what it's rented for
Yeah.
insulation, but it wouldn't be worth the effort, it's not big enough, but. My other question was for whomever is, if you bid a pre-engineered metal building, pole barn, do we have to hire an architectural firm to coordinate the project? It's already got a stamped engineer on it.
My depends on the size and use qualifications? Good chance no, but you would need to hire probably an engineer like a Brent Berkland or somebody to do the footing and foundations, so.
Okay. I would be in favor of something like that, utilizing their firm specifically, or in general, another firm, but
Do you think it'd be a good idea to start with a site plan and submit that over to Judy Clark's office and let her look at that portion of it before we
the reason I
move?
bring up pre-engineered building is because, and I won't mention their name because I don't want to be disparaging to any one manufacturer, but there's one that's, you'd know their name, but they're usually the most expensive pre-engineered building out there. And they're top flight, good stuff. But my point is there's a number of options, various companies that have that in-house engineering. If we can do that and have the proper oversight, as Joe points out, with, say, a Brent Berkland, can we utilize a little bit more of the capital to build more building? And so, site plan wise, I would say, to me, trying to get a rudimentary number is, going to some of those companies and saying, what would it cost me to get an open span, 40 by 60 foot insulated building already in the batting insulation that's like, you've seen a lot of fire halls that way, right? Or whatever, and say, what's the price? What's gonna, and they can tell you, I mean, there's not a lot of guesswork because they already know material, because they build them all the time. When the engineering's done, the loads are gonna be sufficient and all that. So maybe it's as simply as, well, okay, here's our budget. Assuming we can comply with setbacks and so forth, what can we get for this? And work from that angle versus, say, we've gotta have a 40 by 60. Not necessarily, to Joe's point, if you're gonna build it to the maximum amount of storage you can get out of it.
I agree.
Enough sidewall that you can put secondary storage inside that can be structured, but that's all stuff that can be done later. First stage, build the building. Get the good foundation, get the insulation package, that's all done. And then you go in and you recreate the space. If I wanna segregate this, or I wanna put a wall partition, or put a loft for record storage or whatever.
Yeah, but we need to know the maximum size for the dollar before we could ever do a site plan.
Well, that was just my point.
Exactly.
I think you take it to 2 or 3 manufacturing firms that do this all the time.
Exactly.
And say, okay, we've got this budget. Does this build me a garage? Or what does it build me?
So I think for the Building and Grounds Committee or whoever, it might be wise to just say how many square footage of rental space do we have right now? How many square feet of this? How much of it needs to be conditioned? And they'll give us a pretty good idea on the size of the building we need, and then build it about 40% larger.
Because you always want it
And even
bigger.
if that sits a little bit empty for a while with somebody's equipment or something in it, it's,
Tyler, would it be a proper approach to have Building and Grounds make some inquiries in regards to, sounds to me like we gotta make sure that the lot will accept it. And then also get some idea in regards to what we could get for that amount of money.
I think that's well within Building and Grounds wheelhouse, and it's within your purview to assign them to do that.
Let's go that route, and then at that point in time, we'd have 3 bids, or at least 3 bids.
At least a little bit more than rudimentary idea what kind of money it's gonna cost us.
Yeah.
And then irrespective of the lot, I mean, to me, that's not even a point at this point. It's like, how much money, or how much can I get for this much budget?
Yeah.
And then you go to the site and say, all right, I can build this, but can I build this?
Okay, sounds like a good approach.
But even at that dollar amount, you're still gonna have to do closed bids. Right? So,
Because of the dollar amount, the project has to be overseen by an architect or engineer.
Because of the dollar amount,
It'll be over 50,000.
Berkman's firm qualify,
Yes,
And that's why we utilize them now on an annual contract, at least for the overlays.
okay.
It's
I would,
easy to add on to that.
I would be leaning towards that.
Okay.
personally. But anyway, we can ask a couple, three companies to say, if I had this much money, what kind of an insulated building could I have?
Okay, do you wanna hit that up?
That makes sense? That makes sense? Then you go worry about the site.
Okay. Let's get some initial input
Because they
on
may
that.
say, well, that'll make you a three-car garage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exaggeration, but this day and age, who knows how far it goes? I don't know.
What size was the building that he's currently renting?
That is 20, let's see. Is it 20 by 36?
Yeah, was it?
Sidewall is low enough that you'd have to spend a lot of money to cut out a new header, change that overhead door, and you'd be up into the trusses.
Okay.
So sidewall height was also a big issue.
and
So,
who knows, maybe there's a metal building around somewhere, who knows?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we were paying $421.65 a month for that. And it looks like it was
Tristan would probably serve on that committee. if you-
25 by 35.
That'd be good. He could bring the burritos.
Be about all I'd be good for.
okay, I'll,
That's pretty good, Brandon. There, Tristan.
You're gonna reach out to building companies then?
Yeah, I can think of a couple that I could ask.
okay, that'd be good.
Because a lot of that stuff's, I mean, it's basic information, you don't have to get a formal bid to know that this is how far that kind of a budget would take you.
Sounds good. Look forward to hearing back.
All right.
Anything else to come before the board?
When are we gonna get a report on the jail standards? It says we did well, is that right?
Yeah, that report was the 21st of April, that I was not,
Full compliance, it says, that's good.
I think we already knew that. You were aware of that, right, Tyler?
I got, the county attorney's office gets CC'd on that, one gets sent to the board, that we keep. And then the other one's just for essentially our reference.
Yeah, we don't need to act on
I
that.
just didn't give you the whole report, I just gave you the good news.
FYI.
That's all we need.
FYI.
That's all we need to know.
Thank you.
I saved a tweet.
We need more good news.
Just more stuff that Becky has to keep. That's what that is.
Sounds good. Anything else come before the board? Look forward to hearing back from, I guess you got several subcommittees you're working on here right now, aren't you? You and Joe, yeah.
Yeah, it would pay to be quiet, pretty sure.
If there's nothing
I
else,
enjoy the chuckle.
it's almost 11 o'clock, so I think we'll adjourn before 11.